Hey, and welcome to Word with Life News for November 12th. Today I'm going to talk about expansions for Pandemic and Smash Up, a new format for Fantasy Flight Games living card games, and Cards Against Humanity's 10 Days or Whatever of Kwanzaa, as well as the Kickstarter for Drive-Thru Review. All right, let's get to it. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Word with Life News. We will not have news next week because Board with Life, the whole gang, is going to be at Board Game Geek Con, which is a great little convention that we love going to. If you see us there, make sure you say hi. Don't feel weird. People are always like, oh, I didn't go up to you because you looked busy or whatever. Like, ignore it. Like, say hi. We love meeting you, and that's always great. All right, on to board game news. We have a new expansion coming out for Pandemic. It's called State of Emergency. This is the third expansion for Pandemic, and it's going to have 3 new challenges, which are the Hinterlands Challenge, the Emergency Events Challenge, and the Superbug Challenge. I don't exactly know what the mechanics are going to be of these challenges. It just seems kind of like you have new different objectives and stuff like that. So that sounds interesting. Pandemic is certainly one of the most popular games, so good for them. Smash Up is getting its 5th expansion, and this expansion is called Pretty Smash Up. I absolutely love this. This is totally what Smash Up is all about and what's so much fun about it. This is adding 4 new factions: fairies, mythic horses, kitty cats, and princesses. In Smash Up, you put 2 different decks together. So in like the original, you could be like zombie robots or ninja pirates or whatever. And so all the expansions keep adding them on. So this means that we can have werewolf mythic horses, which I imagine is a mythic horse most of the time, but then at the full moon turns into a werewolf, which that's horrifying. Zombie princesses, time-traveling kitty cats, all sorts of stuff. So this is really great. The fun part of Smash Up is just kind of the ridiculousness of the combinations and all that stuff. So good work here. Big news from Fantasy Flight this week. They have announced cycling for their living card game format. Living card games are a lot like collectible card games like Magic the Gathering, but instead of randomized packs, you get all the cards and give an expansion. So they'll have an expansion with 20 new cards, and you'll get all 20 of those cards when you buy the expansion. So you don't have to chase rares and all that kind of stuff. So their cycling is going to be very similar to what Wizards of the Coast has done successfully with Magic, which is kind of cycling out certain cards for tournament play. This means that there's going to be a given amount of cards or a given amount of time, and then after that amount of time, older expansions won't be used in tournament play. So for example, the Netrunner in 2017 is going to see its first stuff cycle out. Their Warhammer Conquest game in 2018 is going to see its stuff cycled out. Call of Cthulhu, the card game, and Star Wars, the card game, this is also going to be true for. They're not doing it with their Lord of the Rings, the card game, because that's a co-op game. And it actually is big news for their Game of Thrones living card game, because this one has so many cards that they've decided they're not going to be able to do it with it. So they're bringing a second edition of that game that's going to be new and different. You're going to have about 1,500 cards in any given time slot. And big box expansions and core sets will always be legal. Those will never go out. So if you play in tournaments, this affects you. If you just play for fun and casually, it doesn't affect you at all. All the cards still work. All that kind of stuff. It just gives them more power over kind of controlling card creep and certain card combinations and things like that, which, as Magic the Gathering has proved, really helps the brand and really helps the creativity in the cards. Cards Against Humanity is doing 10 Days or Whatever of Kwanzaa. This is a lot like the thing they did last year in the holiday season, where you pay $15 and you get 10 mystery gifts during the month of December. You don't know what the gifts will be. Last year, there were a lot of different Cards Against Humanity cards. There was a micro game. There was a comic. They literally sent little bits of coal to everyone. So it's goofy gifts, Cards Against Humanity based gifts, kind of fun idea. So yeah, it's a really, really, really popular thing that they do. And it's selling out very, very quickly. So if you got $15 and you want 10 whole gifts sent to you, then hop on it. The Kickstarter this week is for Drive-Thru Review Season 5. Drive-Thru Review is a show hosted by Joel Eddy. He's a member of the board game community. He does tons and tons of review. He does great content. He had some of the best Gen Con coverage of all last year. He does a really good job of that. Kind of, you get a preview of like virtually every game that's there. It's really, really exhaustive work. This year he's running a Kickstarter for his 5th season. and you can get promos and stuff for certain games. For $25, you can get a Mage Wars promo, Eminent Domain, Tuscany, and Fleet promos. And those are just little thank yous. Obviously, most of the money goes towards, him having equipment and travel and all that kind of stuff. And the amount of work, the amount of work that goes into having an ongoing show with regular content on YouTube is just huge. The actual costs might not be that great, but the man hours are just relentless, and nobody in their right mind does it if it's not just for the love of board games, because there's really not a lot of money to be had there. So this guy does a great job at it, and you should definitely go support him. So go do that. All right, that's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on all our good stuff. You know the drill because you watch every week. So moving on to the question of the week. This week, I'm actually just going to answer all the questions that people ask me on Facebook at the point at which I'm recording this. So first up, Chatty Rogers asked, who is your daddy and what does he do? My dad's name's Bill Bryan, and he's a professor. Benny Busted asks, if you could make any video game into a board game, which would it be and why? Oh, I don't know. I think I don't play a huge amount of video games, and the ones I do play are pretty similar to board games already. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time for SNES, that one, boom. Who really killed Abraham Lincoln, Martin Vo asks. The Illuminati. Matthew Yeager asks, why did no one tell me about the upcoming expansion for Cosmic Encounter? I saw that was happening, and I chose to not put it on the news because it was a busy news week, and Cosmic Encounter has 300 billion expansions, so I didn't do that. So I'm sorry, my bad. Marissa McConnell asks, why do people like Marvel Dice Masters? I want to like it. I think people like Marvel Dice Masters because as a lot of card games move to the living card game format, I think there's a nostalgia in us where we like collectible card games like Magic the Gathering, and most card games went away from that. So I think a part of us are nostalgia for the rare chasing and that kind of stuff, even though we all say we hate it, part of us really likes it. I think people like dicing games, especially cool custom dice. I think people like Marvel a lot and the idea that it's going to expand into a bunch of different universes. And I think those are the reasons. I think the game itself is okay. Craig Hamilton says, be honest, how many times have you found a game piece in your beard several days after playing? Well, I would have made a joke, but you said be honest, so the answer is 0. I've never found a game piece in my beard. Aaron Chaston says, when is the new season starting? Oh, I don't know, someday. You know how time works in a linear fashion for the most part, if you ignore the theory of relativity, but taking that into account, it's still in the future. We're working on it right now. We have a good chunk of it left to shoot. So certainly it will be in 2015, hopefully early mid 2015. We don't have concrete dates set because we don't have everything scheduled out yet. But we'll definitely keep you posted, and here on the news is a good place to find that information when we know it. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.